Welcome. My name is Laura Wershler. I'm a veteran pro-choice sexual and reproductive health advocate, women's health critic and writer who has worked for and volunteered with Planned Parenthood affiliated organizations in Canada since 1986. I gave this presentation. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. What can we learn from women who share their bad experiences with Depo-Provera, to the Society for Menstrual Cycle Research Conference, June 2015 in Boston, Massachusetts. It is no secret that I am not a fan of the contraceptive injection Depo-Provera, also known as depo-medroxyprogesterone acetate or DMPA. Google Laura Wershler plus Depo-Provera and you'll find several pieces I've written that expose my bias. Many are at Recycling, the Society for Menstrual Cycle Research blog. Please note, my opinions are my own. I do not speak for the Society. In a post about 50 Shades of Grey I wrote, BDSM plays a role in their love story, but the most sadistic thing that Anna submits to is a shot of Depo-Provera. But hey, it's fiction, so she doesn't gain weight rapidly, bleed continuously, or lose her sex drive. For another post, I created this image. Depo-Provera is what's called a LARC, a long-acting reversible contraceptive. And I wrote this in a post called Do You Love Your LARCs? Throughout the contraceptive realm, LARCs are being heralded as the best thing since Cinderella's glass slipper, with little acknowledgement that for many women, LARCs are more like Snow White's poisoned apple. I had evidence of this because my April 4th, 2012 post on recycling, Coming Off Depo-Provera Can Be a Woman's Worst Nightmare, had been gathering comments for 9 months, proving the title was not far off the mark for some women. As one said, aside from the weight gain, I didn't have much to complain about while I was still getting the shot. This past year, however, has been a living nightmare. Over 3 years, that post received over 900 comments. About 30 or 40 of those are my replies to other commenters. A year later, I posted this, Stopping Depo-Provera, Why and What to Do About Adverse Experiences. It was a Q&A with endocrinologist Dr. Geraldine C. Pryor from the Center for Ovulation and Menstrual Cycle Research at the University of British Columbia. It explained the adverse effects and offered suggestions to manage the return to ovulatory menstruation. It had 389 responses when comments closed in April 2015. There were a few comments, I counted 8 but may have missed some, that shared positive experiences. Many more came from women who had no problems while taking Depo, but were completely unprepared for the adverse effects they experienced upon stopping. As one woman wrote, It has been 1 year since I first posted about my positive experience receiving my first and last Depo shot. I've been following these comments religiously and they have been very helpful. Thank you. Here's how it went for me. Depo-Provera was the worst thing I ever did to my body. Women stop Depo because of continual or erratic bleeding, mood issues, loss of sex drive, concern about bone health, their insurance ran out, they want to have a baby, or because, after taking it for 15 or 20 years, their doctor said they should. So, what do women experience when they come off Depo-Provera? The short explanation is hormonal chaos, an estrogen storm. Dr. Pryor explains the endocrinology in the Q&A. You can download the PDF from the blog post. Briefly, Depo-Provera suppresses a woman's own hormones to near menopause levels. Post-Depo, the body works hard to regain reproductive function by overproducing estrogen. Hypothalamic incoordination delays return to ovulation, so progesterone is not produced to counteract estrogen. Erratic, high, unopposed estrogen causes most of the miserable symptoms. Women who commented from the US, Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia, and Africa experienced heavy and continuous bleeding, extreme breast tenderness, weight gain, headaches, nausea, extreme mood swings, depression, hair loss, and damaged relationships. Some were frantic about delayed return to fertility. Others, fearful of being pregnant, had taken multiple pregnancy tests. It was infuriating and heartbreaking to read how women of all ages, from 17 to 56, whether they had taken 1 shot or used Depo for 2, 7, 15, or 22 years, had been adversely affected by these experiences. Some days, I couldn't bear to read another sad story or one more expression of regret. A common refrain was, "If I had known then what I know now, I would never have taken Depo." I was angry that so many women had no one to help them understand and navigate the post-Depo experience. The provision of Depo-Provera too often fails to honor informed choice or serve women's health and well-being. I'll demonstrate this with excerpts from comments under 4 main themes. I'll then suggest how providers can lessen the negative impacts of Depo-Provera for women considering this contraceptive option. Theme 1, Uninformed Choice. In contraceptive decision-making, informed choice emphasizes that clients select the method that best satisfies their personal reproductive and health needs, based on a thorough understanding of their contraceptive options. To make an informed decision, we should also thoroughly understand the implications of using each method. Comments suggest that although most women had some idea of the side effects they might experience while using Depo, they were not prepared for the physical and emotional impact of some of these side effects, and none were prepared for what they experienced after stopping. They wrote things like, "I have the info I was given with the first shot, so where does it indicate the possible symptoms after quitting the shot? I am a living nightmare, and I feel constantly on edge. How can this injection be legal? I'm from the UK, and I wasn't given any serious rare side effects of this injection. I feel helpless." I'd asked about side effects and was told they weren't very prevalent, and I may just have some spotting. I had the shot at the end of February 2013. I then proceeded to bleed, at times heavy to the point of gushing, until the middle of June. That is 116 consecutive days non-stop. Another wrote, "This is serious stuff I would like to have considered during my selection process, but was only really told about the benefits of Depo and just the bone density side effect and altered cycle. I now am regretting taking this shot because they warned me about the side effects while on the shot, but never warned me about what would happen afterwards." One commenter said, "I read the possible side effects, but no one ever takes those seriously." Another was accusatory. "To the people who are blaming the doctors, don't. It is your responsibility to get facts and ask questions before starting a treatment. It does the job. It does what it's supposed to do. So please don't complain about the minor side effects. Rejoice because you did not get pregnant when you didn't want to be." The vast majority of women who commented did not consider their adverse effects to be minor, but rather responsible for diminishing their quality of life. This woman spoke her personal truth. "I reckon there is far too little information available about this shot, and it is given too freely without the side effects being clearly understood." Theme 2, Lack of Body Literacy. Do most girls and women understand how their bodies work? Do most know how a healthy ovulatory menstrual cycle unfolds? I think the answer is no. It is common for teenagers to start hormonal contraception before their reproductive systems have matured, before they've developed a relationship with their own bodies. I've written in the past, when it comes to body literacy, we are not taught to read or understand our own bodies. On the contrary, we are taught to distrust our bodies and accept various artificial means to manage them. Several commenters were prescribed Depo for irregular periods, heavy bleeding, PCOS, or endometriosis. Depo fixes none of these conditions, but may reduce or eliminate difficult symptoms that will resurface or be replaced by worse when they stop the shot. Some women are confused by that old birth control adage, "The pill will regulate your cycle," not understanding that the pill might regulate bleeding, though could make it worse post-Depo, but does nothing to support return to ovulation. I was on Depo for 7 years. I stopped in October and started on the pill because I wanted to try and regulate my period as fast as I could because my husband and I decided to start a family. And some gynecologists don't seem to know how to help a young woman achieve fertility in the first place. When I was 13, I had 1 dose of the Depo-Provera shot, and my period has not been normal since. I am now 19, and I can maybe count on 2 hands how many periods I've had in the last 6, almost 7 years. My gynecologist put me on the birth control pill about 3 years ago and told me it will run its course and my period will regulate itself. But that's not the case. I stopped the pill about 2 years ago. I will bleed on and off from time to time, but it is more like spotting. I like to think my period is going to come and be normal, but it never does. Many commenters talked about getting Depo out of my system. 3 months after the last shot, the drug has left the woman's system. Adverse effects are caused by high and erratic estrogen produced by her own body. They wrote, "Will the bleeding ever stop? Is it just the Depo working its way out of my body? Why is this occurring? And will regular birth control pills help regulate the bleeding? It just seems you have to play the waiting game for this stupid thing to get out of your system." And the mood swings were unbearable, though. I had horrible fatigue and felt depressed all the time, like not wanting to go out or do anything, also very tearful all the time. I went to the doctor and told her all my symptoms. She said I would have to wait for it to leave my system. Theme 3, feelings of fear, anger, regret, betrayal, and solidarity. Perhaps you are getting an idea of what women post-Depo are up against, and perhaps you can imagine the emotional toll it takes. It was certainly hard for me to read and absorb, week after week, women's emotional responses to their experiences with Depo. They express fear. Now, I would like to go to a doctor and get a second opinion, but right now I don't have the money. I mean, I'm really scared that the Depo shot screwed me up so bad that I can't have any more children. I don't know when the bleeding is going to stop. I don't know if I'm going to go back to normal. I'm freaking out, nervous, scared. My fiance and I want another baby so bad. Nobody told me that Depo would do this. I will never take another birth control ever again. Here is what is killing me. I'm terrified that I am now infertile. Anger was a common emotion. The shot has been one of the worst things to happen to me, and I'm so angry that I'm the one who decided to do this. It has affected the way I see myself as a mother. I'm angry at the lack of education behind this inconspicuous injection. Had I known half of the stuff I now know, I would never have walked into that room. I'm angry that I ever accepted Depo into my body, and now I'm angry to have to wean myself off. Is it heroin we're talking about or birth control? I'm not looking forward to the next few months of getting Depo out of my system and finding a new birth control that isn't made by corporate America. But I do appreciate this site and the information. Life could be worse, but good luck if you think Depo is the bee's knees. Regret. Yes, it was expressed. I am so not having fun, and I think Depo-Provera is the cruelest thing your doctor could convince you to do. Hate, 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 hate. Curse it to hell. I'd rather be pregnant 6 times over than go through this again. I regret taking this shot, and I feel like a complete idiot for doing it. I wish I never would have done that to my body. I'm so messed up because of this shot. I'm calling my doctor Monday. Yeah, the shot was 100% effective at preventing pregnancy, but honestly, it's not worth it. I would have rather gotten pregnant. Women also spoke to each other in solidarity. Who the hell put this drug on the market? Because I would very much like to put them on Depo-Provera and see all the debilitating symptoms start affecting their work and personal life the way it has for all of us. I'm terrified of starting another birth control right now. And finally, no more hormones for me. The Depo was a nightmare that I have yet to wake from. Think wisely, my naive ladies. Be strong, my ladies in suffering. We suffer together, mostly in silence, but we are together, and we will win this battle. There is an end. These comments also carry a sense of betrayal of their bodies, but also betrayal by the healthcare providers who gave them Depo and now can't seem to help them understand or manage the adverse effects of stopping the drug. Which brings us to theme 4, frustration with healthcare providers. The second comment to my first post was from holistic reproductive health care practitioner Amy Sedgwick. It is amazing to me how often the repercussions of coming off hormonal drugs are overlooked by women's doctors and how rarely women are forewarned of these issues. It was obvious from women's comments to the first post that most were getting little useful help from their doctors. This prompted the second post with Dr. Pryor's advice on how women might help their doctors help them. We both replied to many women, referring them back to the resources and information in that post. How did they express their frustrations? With comments like these. The doctors and specialists don't have the answers, only a bill to pay on the way out the door, which just makes me feel even more sick. I would never recommend this drug to anyone ever. The stupid doctors don't tell you what the real facts are and dangers are of this drug. I was never told the facts by my GP that it may take up to 2 years to become pregnant after coming off Depo-Provera. As a nurse, I would say that it most certainly should have been the doctor's responsibility to discuss this with me. I went to the doctor about all my symptoms, and it's so sad how the doctor was saying it was not because of the Depo when I never had these symptoms before. The sad part is women have to go to blogs to figure out what's going on because docs don't give us the right info. My OB, who administered the drug, doesn't know a thing about my symptoms. Shouldn't they know all the ins and outs of this drug? And finally, to say it has been a nightmare is letting it off lightly. It has almost driven me insane, to the point of considering if life was even worth living. The ongoing breast pain, on and off swelling, sweating, insomnia, weight gain, etc., the list goes on. I went to specialists, doctors, family contraception centers, and no one could help me. I'm curious to know if sexual health clinics anywhere are doing a better job of serving women who've stopped Depo-Provera than the healthcare providers of the women who shared their stories. So what could Depo providers do? What could be done differently or better to lessen the negative impacts of this contraceptive? Number one, tell women exactly how Depo-Provera works and what to expect when they stop taking it, that their own hormone levels will become almost as low as in menopause, and that upon stopping the drug, they may experience extreme symptoms related to hormonal imbalance. Number two, offer a buyer beware advisory for women considering Depo. Managing contraception on the go was used in a contraceptive counseling course I took online in 2013. If fertility awareness methods require such a notice, then so too should Depo-Provera. The 5 R's of Depo-Provera. Restrictions to sexual activity may occur due to continual bleeding, vaginal dryness, and/or loss of sex drive. Rigorous daily exercise may not limit weight gain. Required high tolerance for quality of life-threatening side effects. Risk of pregnancy due to high discontinuation rate among users. Risk of serious adverse effects upon stopping Depo-Provera. I say tell women up front. If you hate it, come back and we'll find another method that works for you. A powerful drug requires powerful language. Number 3, use the information in Stopping Depo-Provera, why and what to do about adverse effects, to develop a treatment protocol. Those who provide Depo must be the ones who support women through their post-Depo experiences, or they should refer women to someone who can. And a big question is, who will pay for this support? And 4, if you can't do 1, 2, and 3, consider whether you should be providing Depo-Provera to anyone. What can we learn from women who share their bad experiences with Depo-Provera? That for these women, this contraceptive is not serving reproductive justice. It does not support their complete physical, mental, spiritual, political, economic, and social well-being. We might think that newer LARCs, the hormonal and copper IUDs in particular, are replacing Depo-Provera, but it is still being promoted and used in many Western countries. And what about Depo's extensive use in Africa and other developing countries? What problems are arising there for women with adverse experiences? Who is helping them? I leave the last words to commenter L. It may sound stupid, but I want my periods back. And one other young woman wrote near the end of the comments, just a question. I get notifications daily of more and more posts from women who are experiencing an absolute nightmare like myself. Can't these posts be shown or submitted to the FDA? It's astounding the lack of research and medical information about the side effects of coming off the Depo. It seems like the issues are widespread, and not only does these side effects not only of going on the Depo, but coming off, too need to be discussed by healthcare professionals with us. There also needs to be some sort of plan based on unbiased research and testing to help women coming off the Depo. Otherwise, it needs to be banned immediately.